Monday. This is also Europa League, and together with Alvaro, Dani, and myself, we will analyze the grand final of the second best football tournament on the continent. Eintracht Frankfurt and will face Rangers on Wednesday night at Sevilla Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium to decide who will lift the trophy this season, 21-22. And if you're new to our channel, please don't hesitate to subscribe, hit the like, and the notifications bell to never miss a show. And now it's showtime. What an interesting final, eh? Who would expect Eintracht and Rangers to face off in a battle for silverware for the first time in more than 40 years in their cup history?
Yeah, very interesting final. Two historic clubs, two clubs with a lot of tradition in their respective countries. And it's a final between the two teams that started the competition from the group stages. Rangers dropped out, of course, from the Champions League playoff after being beaten in the summer by Malmö. But, they went through the group stages, and Eintracht were there since the beginning. So two teams that took this competition absolutely very, very seriously.
Yeah,
the best two teams in the tournament, possibly, all together with maybe West Ham United. But I think that Frankfurt has to stand out for me. I mean, what they have done in this tournament is astonishing, really. I mean, kicking out Barcelona, kicking out Betis, kicking out, in the semi-finals. Just help me because I don't remember right now. West Ham United as well. West Ham United. Yeah, they've been astonishing. They haven't lost a single game in the tournament, but now they are playing Glasgow Rangers. And the truth is that when a final comes between two teams that weren't favorite at the beginning, you have to say that this is pretty leveled.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the bookmakers here, they are favoring a little bit Eintracht Frankfurt. Maybe because they had a tougher road to this final, eliminating Betis, Barcelona, and West Ham on the semi-finals. It's also, historically they won this UEFA Cup winners in 1980, and I think this is in total contrast to their Bundesliga season when they couldn't even defeat Mainz in the last round and ended 11th in the table. Alvaro, it's quite surprising for me how they eliminated both Spanish giants, let's say, compared to especially Barcelona,
one of them is a giant, like Barcelona. The other one, Betis, is a team that has done very well this season, winning the Spanish Cup. They are 5th in La Liga. And I think that Frankfurt was better because they had more physicality and a better game plan. I mean, I don't want to just be very reductive here and put it all down to the physical strength, because I think Frankfurt played better than Barcelona, definitely at Frankfurt, and in Barcelona they were astonishing as well with 30,000 supporters, and they beat Betis comfortably too because they played a really good football, and probably in the same way that I'm saying that probably Frankfurt for me has been so far the best team in the competition, the better team in the competition. I think that 𝐕lipp Kostic has been probably the most exciting player to watch, and probably the Serbian midfielder attacker has been probably the most difficult to understand for the opponents too. I think that his tournament has been fantastic. He has had 31 attempts in the tournament. Probably he has been, definitely he has been one of the most incisive players, and I wouldn't take too much from their Bundesliga form into this game, because in the Bundesliga they have suffered from not having any proper goal scorer force. Like, for example, Borré, their top scorer in the Bundesliga, he has scored only 8 goals. But in the Europa League has been a totally different story. Their game plan has worked in European soil, and the truth is that they haven't lost a single game. And this is very important too, because if you see the numbers of Rangers, for example, Rangers, yes, they have lost a few games in the Europa League this season, 5 in total. Frankfurt hasn't lost any single game. So, coming into this game, they are favorites. I can see why the odds are favoring Frankfurt to win this game. And actually, I'm going to stay with that, and I'm going to give you my first tip. Frankfurt to win 235 is pretty decent as well. I like it. But if you think, for example, that Frankfurt may win it, but not necessarily within 90 minutes, you can go for Frankfurt to win the game, irrespective of 90 or 120 minutes, just Frankfurt to lift the trophy. That pays 167, and I think that is okay too. But in my opinion, they are slightly favorites here.
I think Frankfurt this season, I mean, they confirmed they are a very, very interesting team. They got a very distinctive style of play. They used to be a very interesting team. You know, they played a lot of season in the Europa League, back to when 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐬𝐿 was the manager, and now with Glasner as well. They always performed pretty well in Europe. They definitely stepped up, and you know, I think they got a very clear game plan. They're very good on breaks. They can break counter-attacks very, very quickly. Perhaps in the Bundesliga they suffered when they had to play against very low blocks or teams that defended quite deep. So in fact, if you look at it, in Bundesliga, their home form, it's very poor, but their away form, it's better. I think they are more comfortable, perhaps when the other team has more the ball, but they can actually break them, and they go quality up front. 20 goals scored in the Europa League so far this campaign, so very good tally. 12 conceded. As I said, in the Bundesliga away form, they were not great, but let's not take that into account too much. Yes, they haven't got a great goal scorer domestically, but if you look at the likes of Filip Kostic, he gave 10 assists in the Bundesliga so far this season. He's been instrumental for them to win at the Camp Nou,
and win 5 in the Europa League
as well. Yeah, and
5 in the Europa League.
It's been great. He's
he scored against Barcelona, didn't he?
Yeah.
And consider Kostic in the summer was really, really close to join Lazio, was really out of the team of Eintracht, and actually then he kicked on really, really well this season. They tend to score first as well. They scored the first goal in the last 4 Europa League games, and they scored in the first half in 3 out of the last 4 game. They scored first. They didn't do it at the weekend against Mainz, but you know, they played. It was almost like a dress rehearsal. They played pretty much the team that is gonna go to the final. I think this is gonna benefit them for sure. A bit of stats here. If you think goals could be on the card for Eintracht Frankfurt, 10 of the last 11 games, they've been both to score. So they had scored and conceded. The only one was the 1-0 win against West Ham, a little bit against the odds, if you like. So it could be a high-scoring game here for sure for a creative team like Eintracht Frankfurt. They're gonna miss a very important player, which is 𝐜𝐭𝐴𝐧𝐬𝐬. The defender is injured, but you know, they got Kamada up front. We mentioned Kostic, Borré. So I think yes, it could be a high-scoring game. If you think both to score is good for you, I mean, the odds are not massive, but you could go maybe for over 1.25 goals in the second half. So more than 1 goal in the second half to win for you 180. Or if there is only 1 goal in the second half, you just lose half your stake.
Danail, I would like to chip in here because I totally agree with Daniele, and I think that the goals market is pretty juicy here. Both teams to score 170, I think it's all right, really. We tend to think that these kind of bets, they don't satisfy fully our listeners, our users, but the truth is that 170 is a decent revenue, especially if you start betting more than 1 unit, no? So I think that this is pretty all right. I think Daniele has overlooked perhaps the over 2.5 goals as well, which is pretty.
I got it as well.
You got it, no?
Yeah. I think over 2.5 goals that pays. I mean,
191.
Great minds, you know, me and Alvaro. We think the same. It pays really well. Also because you have to consider Rangers 22 goals in total in 16 games in Europa League, conceded 15, only 4 clean sheets in the campaign, and we said 20 goals scored for Eintracht Frankfurt. So it could be high-scoring game, maybe a game where no teams had the total control of the game for 90 minutes.
And I'm going to back that with something else. Rangers has been scoreless only in 3 games in 2022, and believe me, they have played a lot of games. And Frankfurt has scored in every Europa League game, in every single out of them. And in the Europa League, we have seen a lot of goals this season because there were 53 goals across the 8 ties. So an average of 6.6 goals per tie, which is 3.3 per game. So I think that even the Europa League stats, the overall stats, including all the teams, are telling us that this Europa League has been a high-scoring one. So yeah, both teams to score for me is not necessarily a no-brainer because you never know in football. But yeah, it's 170. I think that is likely to happen, really, or otherwise over 2.5 goals.
Definitely sounds like a lot of goals on this final. Hopefully not unlike Chelsea and Liverpool the other day, where they couldn't even, they couldn't find the back of the net for 120 minutes. But let's focus on this game. For Rangers, let's mention a little bit about their road to the final. I would say they had a considerably easier path because they had to defeat Red Star Belgrade, Braga on the quarterfinals, and then Leipzig in the last round, where they actually lost the first leg, and many thought the final will be German. But the Scottish side, they had another plans, and they actually gave a great present to their fans because they are now celebrating 150 years since the club was founded, and this is their first European final since 2008. When they lost to Zenit by 2-0. Very interesting.
I remember that. They knocked out Fiorentina in the semi-final in that one at the penalties.
The best player in that tournament was Andrei Arshavin by a mile or 2 or 3 or 4. He was amazing, really. A few things about Rangers. Their last European title came in 1972, the European Cup Winner Cup, and I was reading about that final a little bit. It was funny because the away goal rule was more or less implemented around that time, and they beat Sporting Lisbon 3-2 away, and they got beaten 3-2 against Sporting Lisbon away, and they won 1-0 at home on their way to the final, and the referee just didn't know the away goal rule, and he had to be a journalist who came into the locker room, John Fairgrave, who told the Glasgow Rangers players that they had come out as winners of that tie in 1972. And then, yes, they won the final. But yeah, I think that the season for Rangers has been pretty decent as well, with Gio Van Bronckhorst. Some players that are starting to stand out. For example, in the weekend, we saw a young guy like Lauri, for example, doing a fantastic performance. But on top of that, Tavernier, he has scored 7 goals in the Europa League, and he's a bloody right back.
18 in total. Top scorer with Morelos.
It's amazing, and he's a right back. Then Kamara, Lundstram, McGregor, the goalkeeper, they are doing pretty decent. And I just want to see if Roof is back for the game because he's still doubtful, and Yanis Hadji, because this is an opportunity for the son of 𝐬𝐭𝐴 Hadji to shine as well. I think that the season has been pretty satisfying for Glasgow Rangers, but they have been more inconsistent in the Europa League. They've been hanging from the edge many times, and they managed to survive, like against Leipzig. But Frankfurt, they have done it with a little bit more of robustness in more difficult grounds. So that's why I'm going to say that I back Frankfurt slightly more for this game. But there is one more odd that I would like to put here, and this is my last one actually. I'm going to go for the cards market for Frankfurt. I think that they can get easily over 4 cards. Why? Because they are not the tidiest of the teams in the Europa League. Their passing accuracy is a 79% passing accuracy, which makes them the 29th team when it comes to passing accuracy in the Europa League, which is not a lot. They lose the ball a lot, and then they try to recover it. And then when they try to recover it, they get many cards. In fact, no team has received more cards than Frankfurt in the tournament. 31 yellows, 2 reds. That's why I'm backing over 4 cards in the game for Frankfurt, 180. And this is, my last shot here. So, as I said before, both teams to scores, over 2.5 goals, Frankfurt to win, and Frankfurt to get over 4 cards.
I like that one.
We have a question from our audience. Idris is asking, what is your pick for corners? And Alvaro, I think you are very comfortable with corners usually.
Yeah, no, but I don't have one here, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry not to live up to my reputation, but no,
that's okay.
The corners. Idris, I bet any minus 1.5 corners for each side pays a lot because if you look at the odds, there is no clear favorite. So
yeah,
I don't know who's got the best wingers, who's got the best crossers of the ball. Maybe Eintracht with Kostic. I don't know. It's a tough one. Who's gonna put more balls in the box? Really?
Yeah,
It's difficult. It's difficult to say.
difficult.
It
Difficult.
might be a good option to just go for the markets, total corner markets, instead of handicaps.
Yeah. I think look, going back to Rangers, they had a more difficult season. Let's not forget that they changed the manager in November when Gerrard went to Aston Villa, and Gerrard had almost a perfect machine there, working really, really well. Last year they were unbeaten domestically. They were on course, I think, to win the title. Celtic, 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐽𝐻, they were way behind them. But then between January and February, with the new manager, with Van Bronckhorst, they had to readapt. They lost 11 points in the league, Celtic. Otherwise, I think they would be champions, because they showed that when they played recently Celtic, Rangers, they were up to them. They beaten them in the semi-final of the Scottish Cup. Yes, they lost one Old Firm 3-0, but they're not so far behind. But yes, they had to make ground. When Van Bronckhorst came, a couple of changes, maybe a new system as well. They lost a solidity at the back, those almost playing automatically. They really knew what to do with Gerrard. It took a while to readjust, but nonetheless, I think finishing the season with a European final and with a Scottish Cup final, because they're going to play next weekend again. It's good. They could finish with 2 titles, and they stopped Celtic from doing the domestic trouble. It is a good season for Rangers. A Rangers side that also, as Alvaro mentioned, had to do with a lot of injuries. 𝐜𝐴𝐽𝐻, probably the most technically gifted player. They didn't have him since December, pretty much.
Yes.
Now they are without Morelos, top scorers, maybe without Roof. Aaron Ramsey in and out of the team. It is difficult. Helander is going to be out as well. So they had to really go down into the squad, into the reserve team. We saw Diallo on loan from Man United playing recently, Aribo playing up front, sometimes with Kamara. Van Bronckhorst is really trying to manufacture a good team with what he has. I think it has been a good season for Rangers. They have beaten Borussia and Leipzig. Then you would argue Borussia and Leipzig are better than Eintracht, or have been better so far this season, so they could beat Eintracht, but I don't quite buy into it, because most of the successes of Rangers in Europe, they've come at Ibrox. The Ibrox factor, we saw how important it is for Real Madrid playing at the Bernabeu. We know how long are 90 minutes in Bernabeu, etc. But 90 minutes at Ibrox are not short. It is tough there, and there is that sort of almost a magnetism, almost a pull factor, almost like they suck the ball into the net, if you like. They really were able to bounce off the crowd, the spirits, etc., and lift everyone up. So now they have to play away. Of course, a lot of teams, a lot of supporters will go there to Seville, but maybe it's not quite the same. Undefeated in 11 of the last 14 games, Rangers. So they come in a very good form. And as I said, they could win still the Scottish Cup. If you believe Rangers are not going to be beaten, and if you think this is going to be a cagey game, apart from the goals market that we mentioned before, you could go for an Asian handicap 0 in the first half for Rangers. That pays 220. So a draw in the first half, you get your money back. If Rangers manage to score first and hang on to the lead in the first half, that's 220. I think it's a decent return.
Yeah, definitely. There is value in a lot of your tips, guys. What you mentioned, the ghost market, as well as the cards, like Alvaro flagged earlier. And I guess our audience also is kind of united to have Frankfurt as a winner. That's what Salim says. Also, Marco Paul is backing up Eintracht here, and here he even says that the game should be decided at extra time, which might be even more interesting for a final, to have a more thrill, more entertainment as the last game of the season. And
for some, not for Rangers. Also consider Rangers have started the season on the 3rd of August against Malmö. So how long the season has been? It's never ending, really. Yeah. They play more games, could be tired as well. It could go to extra time.
I think the players can do with a long summer this year. all of them, because in 2020 they didn't have a summer. In 2021 it was a little bit of a weird one as well, and also there was a Euro, there was a Copa America, African Cup of Nations in January this year. All the players need a summer break, all of them.
So do we.
Of course.
Christy mentioned that he was in Barcelona, and that is his wish final.
But it was a great game. It was a great game.
They were better than Barcelona. They were better than I.
Also in the first leg. Huh?
Yeah.
They had more chances.
Yeah.
I've got a rack Danail, by the way. Maybe our listeners are interested. Yeah.
Definitely.
I do.
Okay.
I crafted a small lacquer here, but
well done.
it wasn't easy, but here I go. If you don't mind, guys, look, over 2.5 goals, over 4 cards for Frankfurt, and Frankfurt to win either in 90 minutes or in 120 minutes, basically to lift the trophy. You put all that together and it pays 574. I mean, come with me, hold my hand, let's do it.
Amazing. I'm going to bet a quarter of my usual
of your wage.
Yes. And actually, I think you have to use the bet builder option on some of the bookmakers to create this one, because it's combining three different markets from the same game, and not every bookmaker allows this. But guys, if you want to learn more about combining bets and all this stuff, we got a knowledge section on our channel. So you can go check it out. We've got thousands of, not thousands, but more than 100 bookmakers on our 𝐿𝐸𝐴𝐷𝒼𝒀𝐿 website. You can go check it out. Check the betting stats over there, as well as other great things. Thank you very much for participating in the show, in the live chat. Thank you, Dani and Alvaro. A pleasure as always. And I will see you.
Thank you, Dani. Enjoy the final. See you soon.
You too, guys. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.